Today I'm going to go over OSINT Hail Marys. Now, for those of you who don't know, a Hail Mary has two meanings. One is a prayer, but in this instance I am referring to a play in football that has little chance of success and is done on desperation. Specifically, it is a long pass aimed as close to the end zone, if not in the end zone. Today I'm going to show you a variety of websites that may or may not be useful. Open source intelligence is hardly ever a straight line, but rather a web. Links will be in the description. For those of you not familiar, some of this will be specific to Michigan, because that is where I live. The first website up is the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Surprise, surprise, when we investigate someone, especially someone for human trafficking, they're often going to have a prior history of problems with the law. This is a serious crime and is unlikely to be there first. Now, this will tell you who is or was in a federal prison. Just as example, I'm going to use some famous examples here. We have Kwame Kilpatrick. Let's search for him. And here we get Kwame M. Kilpatrick. We get his registration number, his age, and when he was released. He was the former mayor of Detroit, for those of you who don't know, pardoned by Trump. But let's look up a name that more of you might know. Joseph Maldonado Passage, a.k.a. the Tiger King. Yep, you can see his release date is very far into the future. We know where he's located at, and again, we have his registration number. Now for a shout out to one of my favorite YouTubers. That's right, Larry Lawton, former jewel thief. But this will only work in case of people who have been to federal prisons. What about state prisons? Yeah, okay, again, this is going to be Michigan. You are going to use Otis. By the way, links for these sites, as I said, are going to be in the description, so don't worry. So you have Otis. Otis will display information about people who are or who have been incarcerated in the Michigan prison system. As you can see, we can look up active offenders, former offenders, and parolees, as well as a few other statuses. See my search right here. Now we are going to pivot. Let's take some of the information we get from Otis and move on to the sex offender registry. I'm going to put in the name I used previously for the Otis example. Name. And it's going to be this name. This is actually a real case that I worked. How this guy got cleared on a previous background check to work with minors is beyond me. Now we are going to pivot to the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. First thing we are going to look at is how to verify a state license. And for this example, we are going to use the name of my mentor, the man who really got me into the cause of human trafficking, David Manville. He is a social worker. Social workers have to be licensed, so let's see when he was licensed and for how long. Now, we're going to use a slightly different section of the website, and that's just owing to the fact that because of the nature of social work, it's put in a separate category. So we got David, we got Manville. I'm going to hit search. So what can we see here? Okay, we see that when he was licensed, how long he kept his license for, where is his license status, and the county he was licensed in, of course. Now he's been an instructor for very many years. Now that we've pulled a license, let's see if Laura can help us out with anything else. Maybe David Manville is doing much more than just teaching classes at Eastern Michigan University. So I'm going to proceed to the section of Laura where we do the business entity search. You can see when you go to Michigan Laura, it's right at the bottom right there. Now they've revamped this a little bit, and we want to search by individual name, and that'll often give us the name of the registered agent. For those of you who don't know, a registered agent is someone designated to receive legal documentation on behalf of a company. They don't actually need to be a member or employee of that organization. It also gives you the names of various other peoples. In fact, for reasons of anonymity, there are actually some companies that for a fee will provide an organization with a registered agent. The addition of being able to search business entities by name is a really good feature. So I'm going to enter the name. And then I'm just going to hit search. So we can see that David is actually associated with many places, and some of these are nonprofits, particularly this one right here. He's the president of the Sparrow Freedom Project. Last thing I'm going to point out is FCC licensing information. In the information security community, many people tend to be into ham radio, and because I was so liberal with giving away other people's information, I am going to expose myself. So we're just going to choose to search by name, and I'm just going to put my name in, hit enter. Hold on here. Okay, so I put in my name and I got nothing, probably because it wasn't an exact match, because depending on where it was, I could have used my middle name. I also have a suffix on my name, so instead, I'm going to actually choose to search by my call sign. And look at all that information you get right here. You get my FRM because, remember, in order to get this license, you have to disclose a certain amount of information to the public. So you don't know when I got it, but you know the expiration date. You can probably actually infer from the expiration date when I got it if you just go online and look it up. I know this has been more of a rant than a precise tutorial, but hey, if I had known some of these in previous cases I worked, hell, it would have made things go quickly. So try them out and have fun. And until I make another video, keep on creeping on. Shout out to Christina.